Hi and hello watch fans, and welcome to another edition of the Real Time Show with me, your friendly neighbourhood watchmaker, Rob Nuds. Today I am joined by Raphael, also known as Rafa and Ralph. Lol. I've done you there. Don't call him Ralph. That was a joke we had off air. From Formex, one of the most exciting brands to hit the scene in the last few years. Tell us, Raf, how have you found Time to Watch us thus far?
Hey, Rob, and everybody listening. Thanks for having me in this lovely, toasty little igloo outside of Time to Watch us. The show has been great for us. We're in the annex. It's the little bunker-looking building right next to the villa. So I really love the layout in there. There's a little bit more space, I would say, than in the villa. So it's more of an open plan design. And the traffic has been great. We've obviously worked very hard to get media and business meetings in beforehand, but it turns out nobody's able to keep their scheduling. So it's all a bit of a blur. So we're trying to hold 3 different meetings simultaneously on little standing tables next to our booth. But it's been great. The proximity to the show, to Palexpo. Are we allowed to mention Palexpo?
We are allowed to mention Palexpo.
So the proximity is really good. You do get a lot of walk-ins, final customers, end customers, business customers, a lot of press that we didn't actually schedule, swang by and wanted to see our creations. So, really good show so far.
So impressed, and you're obviously a fan of the relocation from the previous Head Genève,
we never actually participated until now, mainly because of the relocation also.
Right, okay. It is something everyone's commented on, like how it's not that every guest isn't welcome, but the caliber internationally of guests that you're able to access when you are a minute's walk from Palexpo is noticeable. You know, you get all the big journalists who previously just had no time to get down to Head Genève because, you can't be...
Logistically impossible.
Yes, it's a nightmare, especially in traffic. You just can't make it work. But here, I mean, when you figure out the way, because the first time I came here from Palexpo, I got lost. I went through the car park and it took me 5 minutes and I was like, oh, it wasn't a minute like they said on the flyer. But now you realize there's just a staircase, basically.
Yeah.
It is brilliant. So I hope that we're able to secure it again next year, and I hope that the glass igloo is back. Although, as you intimated, it's so warm in here now, we've renamed it the glass puddle. Everyone is melting.
It gets moist.
So what were that's the first time moist has been said on the podcast all week.
You're welcome.
Possibly the last recording we're going to do, and easily the best. We saved it all till the end. So you've had a great fair. You've enjoyed meeting all these people. You've been on your feet 8:30 till 8 every day.
We do need to talk about the opening hours. It's been intense.
8:30 might be a touch too early, I think. There aren't many journalists I know that get out of bed that time.
Oh, you'd be surprised, though.
Okay, well, I guess there's so much to see. There's 77 brands showing here. And we've had most of them pass through the doors of the igloo, of course, and all of them had slightly different goals, although most people would say they are here for everything they can get. But for you, Raf, what was the main focus? Was it meeting retailers, journalists, or end customers?
All of the above, with a big focus on opening new doors. We've historically, since our relaunch in 2018, where we kind of were forced to choose the direct-to-consumer route because nobody wanted to talk to us back then. Brand was relatively unknown. It was more known in the early noughties, which were the golden years for Formex and generally for larger sized watches. Mm-hmm. And it kind of died down after the 2008 financial crisis. And it's been really quiet around the brand from then until we relaunched it on Kickstarter. And we've been steadily building, creating new products, putting a lot of attention to details and features, materials as well. And obviously a lot of our time and investment went into creating special dials as well. And so now we found that the retailers that work with us, since we have a little bit more space for a retail margin, still not, the classic margin, but a lot of retailers actually started rethinking it and working with smaller brands, like our friends Fears, etc. And the focus was to open new doors because we've noticed that the ones we did open, very traditional retailers, but doing a really modern job, like our friends at James Porter and Son in Glasgow, we recently started working with. They really do a good job at showcasing newer, smaller independent brands like us, but also at creating and fostering a real community around their stores. And we've created a lot of interest with our new releases, but for many people, spending $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 even on an online purchase on a watch you haven't ever handled before is still a big stretch. And creating the opportunity for people to walk past your watches and actually trying them on is a big focus for us here this year.
Obviously, while this fair is going on, there's rumblings coming out of America that tariffs are about to be imposed on
Next
shipments.
topic, please.
Well, let's if you don't mind, can we just
I don't
speculate slightly as to what the potential pathways through this situation may be for you in light of that desire to open doors, because the margins that Trump is discussing imposing on European and especially Swiss exports is absolutely brutal, and it's akin, especially for the Swiss, to a retail margin that you would obviously normally give to a retailer for them to carry your stock.
Exactly.
If it holds fast, which is a big if, because we don't know what's going to happen, obviously, in the next few days. It is a developing situation. If that does come to pass, have you thought of any ways that you could navigate it?
Yes, we obviously, every free minute we had with Marcus, which were about 3 per day, we talked about this.
I believe it, yeah.
And brainstormed a little bit. I'm not going to reveal too much about our strategies on how to mitigate it. One of them is certainly just going to bed, and hopefully he changes his mind, which has been done. It seems like if the Swiss government tells him he was right and that we're changing something, and he can say he won, he will probably do something to at least lower them, but I hope abolish them with us, because Switzerland has been a very good trade partner to them, and calculating punitive tariff based on the trade deficit with a country is not a very smart thing to do, I would say. But we certainly sell a lot direct to consumer as well to the United States. So we might have to, set up a warehouse there. We do actually stock our watches as watch heads only, because we have so many different strap bracelet options, so that whenever somebody orders, every day our team prepares the orders and puts the correct bracelet and sizes them. So we might have to reduce that level of service a little bit, so we can get the watches ready and ship them out to the States. We're certainly making our biggest shipment so far to the States on Monday, hoping we'll get there on Tuesday before the tariffs hit. And there are strategies being discussed. We certainly don't want to raise the price by 31 or 32, or is it 30? We don't know exactly, but we're not going to want to make the customer pay for that, because even though they love our products, I don't think they're just going to swallow that tariff. But that's what it basically does. It punishes your own population.
It's a real shame, and hopefully the situation is resolved agreeably as soon as possible. That was very diplomatic, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Moving on, talking about products specifically, what have you launched or revealed or shown at this fair?
So we've launched very recently over in New York. We had a really, really cool event in Manhattan to launch our first full ceramic watch. So we decided to go on the Essence. We went for a 41 millimeter case, but the watch being all black and our essences being extremely comfortable and ergonomic, which is one of our big focuses, it wears a bit smaller. So I'd say it wears about like a 40 mil watch. And obviously it comes with a lot of difficulty in manufacturing ceramic material that is very hard, harder than all the metals, 1,200 Vickers, more or less. Which means that the end product is extremely scratch resistant, but it's also extremely hard to manufacture. So you start from a injected ceramic composite, And then you have to factor in that when it's getting sintered in the oven at about 1200, 1300 degrees centigrade, it will shrink by anywhere from 20 to 30%, and requiring the precisions. Yeah, like jumping in a cold lake.
It's quite a big percentage, right?
Of shrinkage, yeah. And so you have to factor that in, and knowing that we need to be at manufacturing precisions of 300ths of a millimeter in certain cases, or even less. You have to do a lot of removing of excess material to reach those tolerances, and that has to be done by a CNC grinding wheels. And we're talking about diamond grinding wheels, because stone grinding wheels or anything else wouldn't be hard enough. Certainly not metal. And also using CNC bits that are made from tungsten carbide, which is the only thing hard enough to really machine ceramic. And then speaking about finishing, when you make a ceramic watch that is all matte, it's a bit more simple to manufacture. When you put, we basically took the finishing of our steel essence model, so a mix between brushed with small polished bevels. And if you want to do that on ceramic, you also have to use diamond grinding wheels. So it all has to be done in CNC as well. So it's so much more complicated to finish that. And I'm extremely happy with the end result. So we've got a almost unscratchable watch. We've added enough material where you want to add it because ceramic is not flexible. It doesn't bend. It's brittle. But thanks to the fact that our family business has been manufacturing ceramic for the better part of 35 years, our development and manufacturing team have a lot of experience and know how to prevent breakage, even if you handle them rough. So we have a in-house laboratory now. So we did, traction and torsion testing on the bracelets. We did impact testing, drop testing, and so far we weren't really able to break one.
Talk to us about that background that you have in the manufacturing of other things that are not watches.
Yeah, so my father immigrated to Switzerland when he was 14, and then he did an apprenticeship in the watch industry already. Went on to work at Rado for quite some time, and then he got hired in a business that designs and manufactured dials. Mostly in Malaysia for Swiss watch brands. And that went really well, and they made him a partner, and a couple of years later they sold the business. And one of the partners, Rolf Schneider, a really good friend of my dad, went on to purchase Ulyss Nardin with that money. And my dad decided to found his own business called Dexel, where they, he was always a tinkerer and an inventor. So he drew and came up with a lot of deploying clasp systems. That was his real baby. And then went on to manufacture metal bracelets and even ventured out into manufacturing cases. So, and he was really already at an early stage specialized in composite materials, ceramics, carbon fiber. And that developed pretty nicely, working for many brands. And then dial manufacturer got added to the family business, now run by my uncle, and that's where we make all the Formex dials as well. So I grew up in the family business in product development. Even at a very early stage, they let me polish pieces or assemble simple things when I was like 10 years old during my school holiday. So I always took an interest and was fascinated by creating things. And at one stage, while working at Dexel, one of the founders of Formex came up to us and asked us if we wanted to take over the business and relaunch it. And that's what we did. And so now I can be creative on all parts of the watch. And it's something we do with a lot of passion.
So were you responsible for the design?
Yes, we have
to finish.
We do have designers, so we share the the product development with Dexel. So I have mainly 2 people working with me on the design with a lot of their own inputs, but we then always do it as a collaborative thing.
Incredible. And what can we look... That's weird.
Listen to.
And what can we hope to... What's going on with my voice? And what can we expect to see in the coming months or years from Formex?
Definitely a lot of more dial variations. We're really putting a lot of effort into developing. For instance, last year in summer, we launched the Space Gold Essence, which is a world's first. It's a meteorite dial that has been plated with a real layer of 18-karat rose gold. We figured out that it's meteorites, even though it's a stone, it's mostly made of ferrous materials. Mm-hmm. So this actually conducts electricity, which allows plating to happen. With the added benefit of not hiding the marvelous pattern a meteorite has. So yeah, we put a lot of development in dial variations. We don't want to, pump out new models all the time, especially new model lines. Mm-hmm. We have a pretty broad model line already, and we work on different variations. Maybe some new sizes in the much loved models we have out there are going to come. Maybe some new stone dials, and we also are putting more focus on the movement. So we're going to move but we're going to start a project with a movement manufacturer we haven't worked with before. And there's definitely also something in the works of a complete new movement that might or might not be launched around October for our 25th anniversary.
Oh my word. What exciting news.
Lots of stuff cooking.
Lots of stuff cooking. Okay, Raf, let's leave it there. That was absolutely illuminating. Really enjoyed it. And I'm sure you'll be glad that your time in the glass puddle has come to an end.
Yeah, it's actually starting to get pretty warm in here.
Well, look, get outside, get some fresh air, get back to the desk for another 4 hours.
16 hours.
And have a wonderful end to a brilliant fair.
Thank you very much.
So, Alon, there's not many brands in the industry, as far as I can see, that produce a better quality product than Formex at that price point. What's your take on the watches and the brand itself?
I didn't sit in on the interview, but I was lucky enough, and I emphasize on lucky, to meet Raphael at his stand. They were a bit tucked away in the Dépendance. It was a side building because Time to Watch is so popular, and the Villa Saracen wasn't big enough that they actually put some cool brands in a building next door, next to the food trucks. And I had time to spend with Raphael because I have been meaning to meet him quite some time. He's a good friend of our mutual friend Cornelius Huber of Circular. So I heard a lot about the person. Obviously, I've been following Formex for quite some time. I don't always think the watches are my cup of tea. And I didn't always know that it's a family-owned, family-run business for several generations. Raphael is second or third generation. And they are a key industry player for producing for other brands. Now, Formex isn't a side hustle. It isn't a side project. It's a serious brand, and they make serious watches for a very good price. And this year, they actually got a lot of press coverage because they have a patent on making adjustable clasps on full ceramic bracelets. And the actual clasp is made of ceramic. So I was very eager to see that, besides meeting Raphael. So the conclusion is, I'm going to listen to the interview, but in my side meeting, besides the interview in the Glass Igloo, I was very impressed, both by the team and Raphael and the products. Very cool.
Yeah, honestly, they just blow you away with the precision. The machining is superb. The function of everything, every pusher, every crown, every bezel click, every click on that clasp is just exquisite, to say the least. Honestly, I don't like the ceramic one. Never liked ceramic that much, to be honest. And that's the anti-Rob watch. It's like skeleton dial ceramic case bracelet. Technologically, extremely impressive. But you know what I'd say about these watches? Because you say you're not sure if they're really for you. Once you get them on your wrist, everything makes sense. Like I thought, the Reef, like the diver version. When I first saw it, I was like, this is a watch trying a bit too hard here. It's sort of chucking the kitchen sink at it. Oh, it thinks it's a super cool diver. Oh, yeah. How good can it possibly be? Ahem. Well, it shot me up because it is incredible. Like the build quality, I can't say enough about it. The precision, the use of ceramic inlay on the bezel, the case shape as well. It just is, it's a bit of heaven, bit of class. I mean, I like it. Obviously, I'm a Laventure fan. I'm a Nautilus fan. I like these little ears on the case. I think it's super cute. And I think that the execution can make up for many, many things. But in real life, it doesn't need to make up for anything. It's a great product, beautifully conceived, superbly executed. Can't say enough about it. And they're like $2,000. So, yeah, if this is something that piques your interest, don't hesitate, I would say. Pull the trigger straight away. I don't think you'll be disappointed with the material quality of any of these watches. And we need to get them on the show for a full hour-long interview because there's a lot to discuss. And like you said, their position in the industry is extremely unusual. They do supply a lot of brands with a lot of stuff, and they are experts in that field. So picking Raphael's brains on that side of things would be very valuable content, I think, and something that I hope that our audience would be interested in. So let us know if you'd like us to get them on the show, and if you've got any questions for them, as I'm sure you may have, then just drop them into the mailbag and we'll address them in good time.